Day number 14 has dawned. 31 teams made the trip to London, and so far 6 have found themselves as major teams. Today, 2 more teams will join their ranks, and 1 will be sent packing and all the way home. NIP, Optic, and Ence remain. Who has the strength, determination, and perseverance to take it all away? We're about to find out as we get underway with the final day of the London Miners live here from Twickenham. My name is Trey Saranthus, and I couldn't be any more ecstatic to bring you today's action on the last and final day of the FACEIT European Miners. Of course, I can't do it by myself. I have to have my supporting cast and crew here within Chad Sponge Burchill and, well, Maniac. Let's just keep it there, just in case. I butchered it. Would have been fun.
That's fine for me.
Cool. So,
trip and stumble over some names, but the energy, I like it, Trace. I like what you're bringing here today on Grand Final Sunday.
Yes, that is true. This is only the beginning of the reckoning. This is only the first sip. This is the first foretaste of a bitter cup, which will be proffered to us by a year unless, well, of course, it does not come together for the Ninjas in Pajamas and they don't qualify. But that is not the case yet.
We still got a best of 3 to go before we even get there.
It's not the case yet, but we're on the cusp of that game, and I'm pretty sure people are on the edge of their seat about that one. But the first game, we have a banger. We have Optic and Ence, boys.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this one because throughout this minor, obviously we all know the European teams are better than all the other teams from the other minors. That's just the way it goes. They play a better caliber of Counter-Strike. They have more star players. They actually make the game look beautiful. And Ence and Optic have been able to do that. They've been the most impressive teams thus far. They've stood out head and shoulders above the rest. And they've done it by having fantastic fundamentals. And that has got the nerdy side of me fired up in the morning here.
Chad, I just figured like the nerdy side was already fired up most mornings.
I just got my pen out of my pocket. So.
When you woke up. Well, you got to watch out for that pen. It'll sneak up on you if you know what I mean.
You need one of those pocket protectors.
Yeah, pocket protectors. Well, you might need your pocket protectors at home. Well, wait a minute. No one uses pencils and pens anymore. They use social media, which you should be doing as well, using hashtag FACEITMiner. That's the only way Chad is going to read your tweets. He said it this morning. He said it in the green room. He didn't want to say it out loud on broadcast, but I'm just going to bring that to light here for you all. Maniac, what should they be tweeting about this fine day using hashtag FACEITMiner?
I think there's so many things to tweet about. First, I like your shirt, Chad.
Thank you very much.
I like your suit dress. I think the game to comes are pretty crazy. I think, do NIP have a chance or not? Tweet about it. You think they don't? I think they do. So many things to tweet about.
So many things to tweet about, and perhaps you can even take a look at this bracket and tweet about that bad boy too. Group A coming up in hot, and Optic Gaming have cruised all the way through. Like I said yesterday, and might as well say it again, it wasn't as easy for Ence, but they have also done it, securing the second berth from Group A. Now we switch over to Group B. We've got Kingwin Sprout kicked us off, where in which Sprout took it all the way to the house, and then NIP battled through to the lower bracket. It was a long day of Counter-Strike, what is it, 2 days ago now?
Yeah, that was 2 days ago.
2 days ago, but we did kick off the final bracket, and that, my friends, is the money bracket. You can take a look there in the lowers where you can see Sprout and NIP battle it out yesterday. That was our last game of the day, where in which NIP did topple them 2-1 after, a long, arduous process.
Yeah. The NIP have been looking relatively flat. I would say that what's kind of been bailing them out is individual performances, someone stepping up and having a really big round, a clutch here, a clutch there. It hasn't been what we're expecting from this roster. They're still working through some teething issues with Lecro. The problem is there's a lot on the line at the minors. If they want to get back into the major, which such a historic name like NIP has been void of for such a, it's like 2 years now, they haven't even attended one. That's a really big blip on the radar for these guys. And right here, right now, obviously they have to wait for this opening matchup to go down, but this is their final chance. They just need to win one best of 3 to get back into that rotation.
One best of 3 separates them from where they could be and where they couldn't be. It's weird how that works, like a 50-50 draw almost. Either way, we did get a chance to hear a little bit more about these teams, and I think to do it's going to be Freya. So let's go ahead and jump right into that.
Some of us are really inexperienced. And I do have experience, so I just try to keep the communication calm and keep it going and remind the guys all the time, speak, speak, speak.
It certainly was easy for Ence yesterday as they came out victorious against Sprouts. Ariel and Alu both looked unstoppable and will look to keep the fire in their step going up against their next opponent's Optic.
I'll say we're working a lot on our team play because we have a lot of raw individual skill.
Optic were on dominant form yesterday after a convincing 2-1 win against NIP. Yugi reigned supreme as Optic closed out the series with a dominant showing on Inferno. But who will pull out ahead and claim the first qualification spot?
The first qualification spot here at the cusp, and these teams can taste it. Optic and Ence will be our first matchup in a best-of-3 to end time. That's right. No matter what, time ends after
We're ending
this one.
time? Are we closing the shop on time? Are you throwing the watches away? Are we getting rid of them? I guess, the fact of the matter is, if we are going to look at time as a arbitrary construct, we look back a little bit, and these teams have already played together in this tournament.
They have.
It was a 16-13 on train.
They have, and a lot of the hype has been built up around these two teams. A lot of people want to see these square off in the bracket, and there's a chance that we get a double dose of it today.
Well, that's such a good news, right? Because these have clearly been the best two teams throughout this minor. And if we get to see them play 2 best-of-3s, they'll get tested. We might see different maps in the pool. We can see different approaches. Sure, one team is potentially going to have to play 3 best-of-3s in a row, which could equate to 9 maps. That's a lot of CS. It's not in the old days when we used to all go to LANs and play 20 maps in a day, but modern-day Counter-Strike, you don't see that happening too much. This is going to be a test of, I guess, discipline, will, mental fortitude, individual prowess.
It's probably a lot easier to play 20 maps a day in the CGS, huh?
Hey, man, we only played 9 rounds or something. We had started with 16K.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Alu, Ariel, Alexi B, Sergey, and X7 will be the first group that we're talking about. And if you didn't know, it's easy for Ence, or it could not be. Only time will tell. Maniac, talk to me about this young Ence roster.
Well, here's what I think is very exciting about Ence is when you look at the roster, obviously Alu is a player that is very experienced. He has played at the top level of Counter-Strike. The rest is pretty young, I would say, to the top level, but to my opinion, they play like an experienced team.
Yeah.
They play like a mature team. I feel like they have the composure. They have a lot of diversity in their game. They are able to play slow, control map based. They have good executors that are clean. They shouldn't play like this with a roster like that, so it's very impressive, and I think that's one of the main reasons why people couldn't really test them during this tournament. Only Optic could take a map of them, and I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's a trial by fire with the format or the style that they play, right? Because if it's a blip on the radar and we see them come in and they have a good tournament like they did in Cologne, it's like, okay, well, cool, you played with the big boys, but can you continue that? And here, they've managed to do that. If they just came in and they struggled, and they really, against some of these lower teams weren't showing this same level of form, question marks would start creeping in. But here they've been able to continue that form throughout the system, throughout the fundamentals. Stars have been able to step up. We're seeing new names towards the top of that scoreboard. It's not just the Sergeys and the Alus. Now we're actually seeing more from Alexi B. We're seeing more from Ariel. And with these guys going forward in the tournament, nerves and the inexperience is their biggest enemy. It's not anything else because they've practiced for this. You can tell these guys put in the hours. You can tell these guys are well prepared. Now it's just the mental game. And if they want to get into this major, if they want to achieve something which only players around the world dream of, they need to keep those nerves under control and take the victory over Optic here today, first thing.
I'm sure both of you can attest to this, but I'm sure if you rewind the clocks a little bit and you're a younger player, you get your first game into the day and it may or may not go your way, but you're just hungry to get back in the server and kind of do better than you did last time. It's like, I can't wait to get back in there. Kind of like the fire, they call it.
Yeah, there's certain players who, when they have a really good pistol round or they get a lot of kills on one of the first anti-ecos, they can snowball from there. But I think when you're a team like Ence that has such a good system, you're just doing your part. You're just a cog, As long as you're doing your part within that system, it's all going to be okay. They're not a team that needs someone to step up individually and push them across the line emotionally. Just do your job, and if you do your job right, we're going to win the rounds.
Well, a cog, not to be confused with a pog or a pog champ, because that's exactly nothing to do with what we're talking about. Either way, we are going to start talking about Optic, but perhaps before we even do that, we hear from Optic themselves. We got Config down on the floor with Freya the Slayer. Take it away, guys.
Yes, that's right, guys. I'm here with Config from Optic. So you guys come off a win yesterday against NIP. Are you happy with how the team performed?
I'm really happy how the team performed on the 2 maps. We kind of choked on the overpass game, but overall I'm really happy, yeah.
Because overpass is the only map you've actually lost in the minor. Are you proud of how the team have performed in general here?
I'm really proud of all my teammates and myself included, and my coach. And it's insane that we knew we would come far, but we hadn't expected to only lose 1 map, so I'm really happy.
Because all of the guys have performed really well, but Yugi was the most notable yesterday. He's quite a recent addition to the team. How has he grown?
Yugi is a really insane player. I played with him 3 years ago, and he keeps getting better every single day we play together, so he's just insane.
How do you think the team enables his performance?
I think Yugi does his thing. We just allow him to do it, so I just think that Yugi is just a special player for himself. During the special peaks, always likes to play aggressive and defensive at the same time. So he just plays his game, and that's the same I do.
So now you guys are coming up to face Ence. You beat them in a best of 1, but this time it's a best of 3. How are you going to replicate that success?
It doesn't really matter that it's a best of 3. We're going to win anyway, so we're just going to play our game and show them our faces and say what's good Ence.
You guys sound super confident. What would it mean to you guys to get that major spot?
it means a lot for Yugi and Snappy because they haven't been to a major yet, and I don't know if you can call it a major. I know they like put the two major qualifier and the major together, so for me it's still a major qualifier, but it's really huge for them two, and me and Cajun, we still want to go to the major and Gate as well for the first time, so it's insane for us.
Thank you so much. We're going to head back to the analyst desk.
Yes, indeed. And you can hear the hunger within his voice right there. They know that they are really close. And I don't know if it's because he hasn't ate lunch or like what it was, but
yeah, maybe he's actually hungry. He kind of rained on the parade a little bit there by saying it's not really the major. But look, the way that it's been restructured, it definitely is the major. You get the stickers, mate, and that's how you know you've made the big leagues when your name's in the game. So this Optic roster throughout, they've looked like they're a little bit more flashy than that of Ence if we're comparing the styles head-to-head. Individuals have stepped up and had some really huge moments. And I think, you know, not the necessary suspects either. You know, Snappy's been doing a lot of work, Cajun as well, Gates had his moments, and then of course, Yugi and Config are the stars of this team, and they have been able to really turn some matches on their head with some fantastic plays as well. So everybody seems to be firing on all cylinders. I think what to note here is the consistency of that could come into question here today against a very well-structured team like Ence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Optic is not as surprising as Ence that they are at this moment in the playoff, because we kind of expect that from players like Config, from players like Cajun B. But I have to say, I don't think any teams at this tournament really tested them. I think the map that they lost against NiP was mostly on the back of individual performances. We're talking clutches, pistol rounds. Out of the 5 players in Optic, they are all in the top 10 stats-wise in this tournament. So this is kind of show no one is at their level of dominance. I would even put them above Ence in that regard. Another pretty impressive statistics, when Optic gets the opening kill in a round, they convert 84% of these rounds.
Damn.
So
it's pretty nice.
It's kind of show what it is to play against very experienced players. If you give them an opening, they're going to take it. They will win the round most of the time.
I think we need to note as well, Rugger, the coach behind the likes of Optic here, maybe he gets a little bit undervalued. You know, he was the coach at North for some period of time, and now he's transitioned to a new Danish team after getting thrown out into the wild. And I think he does a very good job. I think, you know, he's a well-rounded individual who preps properly, and he would do a lot for this team, not only from an emotional standpoint, but from a Counter-Strike analytical standpoint as well.
You know what? I thought the most interesting fact, too, outside of the game-centric stuff, was that he was a school teacher.
Yeah, well, he can keep him in line.
Yeah. Do your homework.
That's the command hand.
AKA do your strat work. Now, we do have a head-to-head comparison. It's going to be Aerial and Cajun B. Now, we saw quite a bit of a performance yesterday out of Aerial. Cajun B obviously knows what he's doing. Talk to me about this head-to-head, boys.
The reason this is picked as the head-to-head is these are the 2 highest-rated players in the tournament thus far, and not really the usual suspects. We talked on earlier about Aerial, you know, popping up this event and showing more individual prowess. Normally, when you look to Ence, it's the likes of Sergey and Alu towards the top of the frag charts. On the other side of things, Cajun, he's the backbone of the team. We highlighted yesterday some of the plays that he makes. Not necessarily the most flashy moves by any means, but the kills that he gets always matters, and he seems to be the emotional heart of the squad. He's getting quite loud, getting quite fired up, and those are going to be very important factors going into this matchup if both of these players can continue the form thus far in the tournament.
I agree. Oh, he put it so well. I mean, I didn't want to say anything because it was so nice.
No, it's beautiful,
but
I know.
Here's the thing. The fact that we don't see the usual suspect, I think, is a good statement to how deep team is in terms of player. You know, when you have only one player that's supposed to show up, it kind of feels like inconsistency, because if he's having a bad game, then your team is having a bad game. Obviously, you don't want to do that to have a deep run in tournament. Both these teams have many players that can take over. So that's a good sign for both of them.
It gives them that sort of versatility that says, hey, you know what? You're not feeling so good today. Don't worry, we got you. It's not really leaning too bad on one person, and with that, the whole house could crumble down. Kind of like this best of 3 and how it breaks down in terms of the map vetoes. That's right, 3 maps could potentially be played here, and of course, as we get into the videos, the vetoes. Maniac, talk me through these.
Well, here's what's interesting. I think both teams have had a cash perma ban coming into this, so it's going to be a little bit of a mental game as to if someone is going to veto it or not. I personally think no team is going to veto cash.
Yeah, float it.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to ignore it right away, and then there are.
Oh man, that's such a safe ban.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is the thing. The punish pick of Dust 2 comes in from Ence, right?
Absolutely.
This is where this whole thought process was going. I think you and I are on the same wavelength with this regard, because if both teams have a very similar ban here, and neither takes a risk in the veto phase, what happens is one team gets control of the veto, and that's exactly where Ence are right now. They're going to have a big smile on their face.
Dust 2 will be the first pick coming out on the side of Ence. Now, we've seen them play on Dust 2 before. We know that they have that sort of hive mind, that they kind of attack as a big group. Can they use that against this Optic lineup, though?
Well, the thing is, we have seen how proficient they can be on Dust 2. I also think that, personally, for Alu, it's a very good map. He's an AWPer. He has a lot of impact. On the other side, Optic hasn't really played that map so much, so obviously they could surprise us. I'm not saying this is going to be a one-sided affair, but from the data we have, Ence is in a good position on Dust 2.
I guess the preparation factor is key there, but moving into the Mirage pick, that is like a comfort pick for the players of Optic. You know, that we saw them on the Snappy doing a lot of work from that A-bomb site. Obviously, Yugi getting a chance to roam around with the AWP, Config always impressive, and then Cajun and Gade can just be anchors or, you know, parts of the puzzle on the CT side there. And the game plan is pretty standard, right? Just getting map control and trading out.
Yeah, I want to bounce back on what you said about it's a safe veto from Optic. I also think that Overpass could have been a more aggressive pick against Ence. Overpass has been the second ban of Ence throughout the tournament. Optic can play it. Obviously, they go for Mirage, which is more of a comfortable pick. And yeah, this is different. The strategy of vetoing is very much different. I think Optic going for a safe and comfortable choice, where Ence taking a little bit more risks.
Yeah, I think it's weird though, like as well, like for Ence, the last time we saw them play Mirage was against Na'Vi at ESL1 Cologne, where it was a 16-14 game that could have, you know, knocked Na'Vi out of the tournament, and Ence could have continued forward, right? So we know that they can play that map. It's not something that they're scared of. We look at Na'Vi as a pretty decent teams on Mirage. So these guys, they have the pedigree and they have the form. Like I said earlier in the piece, that it's going to be more of a mental battle for that of Ence, whereas I think, you know, for the guys, they definitely won the veto, in my mind. If they're not sitting there and they haven't thought they won the veto, then they're in a bad spot mentally. But I think that they've won the part of the veto. They just need to make sure they can continue that forward, whereas Optic need the momentum and the individuals to step up early to set the pace.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys for predictions, but right now I have just received word. Actually, it's coming through. Okay. Yes, indeed. It does look like there's a chance for you to win quite a few FACEIT points. It's all on the line right now, but the only way that you can do that is heading over to gaming.youtube.com/FACEIT. And make sure that you are signed up. Make sure your accounts are linked, because we're giving away some big ones right now. FACEITmajor.com/giveaway as well, but it's only going to work. Excuse me. Just kidding. It's only going to work if you go to YouTube and make sure that all of your ducks are in a row. Now, Chad, can we get a drum roll? Your winner is...
That was an actual drum roll as
My
well.
God, I don't even know.
Pronounce that. Go for it.
Huxglerit.
Nice. You nailed
Not
it.
so bad.
You nailed
Not so
it.
bad.
Is that German or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Chad's learning German. Don't ask. But anyway,
Ich lerne
this
langsam.
guy, hacks are legit. Now, I didn't endorse that. I didn't say it quite. Yeah, I did.
Is that how you meant to say it?
That's not bad. We've got some smarter people than us working on the other side of these headphones that actually helped me with that one. Anyway, 100,000 FACEIT points. Congratulations. And again, you can only win FACEIT points if you are over there signed up with the YouTube. That's right, guys.
With the YouTube.
With the big YouTube.
Get on the interwebs. Get on the YouTube.
How about we get on the plane right away and say, hey, you know what? Where are we sitting on this plane when it comes to our predictions? I'm going to start with you, Maniac. Go ahead and give me your over-under for this first map.
The first map, you mean? I'm going to go in favor of Ence. I think I still see Optic winning this, but Dust 2 is for Ence.
So the part of me that is an analyst and looks at all the information is saying Ence. The part of me that knows that Config is going to come out and play some super aggressive Counter-Strike and just be a crazy dude type of guy says Optic. So I'm going to go with Optic. I'm going to go first class.
First class, always go first class. You know what? I actually wanted to take just a second to show you guys
one of my drawings.
This drawing that Chad drew. I don't know why. I think it's some weird depiction. Anyway, I'm going to have to side with the side of Optic just because Config is feeling himself lately, which is also fun to watch. But either way, enough about what we have to say. We're going to go watch this game. It's going to be Dust 2. It's going to be Optic, and it could be easy for Ence, but only time will tell. And to deliver us that story will be the two that are sitting by, waiting ever so diligently. It's going to be Matthew and Henry.
Thank you, Chad. Yes, we are sitting by and ready to go. Look, Ence looked impressive. Optic looked like they've got some firepower. I don't know who I favor. That's
Dust 2 first, and it will be Ence looking good on this map, I have to say. They actually really impressed me with their executions, the way they run their defaults. I think their spawn decisions were very good as well. But Optic is such a heavy-hitting team. They've got Yugi, who's looking world-class right now. I think he has been the most impressive AWPer at this event, but he's against Alu. That's going to be the main battle for me. Alu versus Yugi. That's quite tantalizing, if you ask me. But it is going to be Dust 2 kicking off with a banger. Remember, the winner of this series is going to the major. So this is our first time we can get hyped up. Let's do it. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It will be Ence studying the T side here, and we'll have Optic with a CZ in the hands of Snappy. We'll see what kind of setup they're going for here. Looks like it will be a B finish with Alu holding towards middle. He's got No nade. So he's just waiting for any sort of flanks towards top of middle. Anyone investigating, maybe pushing long, as his teammates will try and bait out the grenades. Maybe a smoke in the B tunnels. And it's holding up right now. They've got 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs, and no upgraded pistols. So they can't bring out that P250 and go for the 1-taps here. Looks like they might focus towards short and middle. 3 players and lower now. No one really taking significant damage just yet.
Yugi. USP trying to bait Snappy from behind the door. And to go on the aggressive, and they will. Sergey, young 16-year-old, takes down a veteran Cajun B. Snappy does respond, though, to find Ariel, a player that we featured coming into this, and rightfully so. Meanwhile, Config on the site does find one dancing in the boxes, drops the bottom, and he almost catches out Sergey getting toward the corner, but he's being overrun. 31 HP, and Sergey's going to beat him to it. He's going to go back for the bomb, however. It is a 2 versus 2. Thankfully, Alu gets toward long just in time to hold Yugi at CT and nearly take him down.
This is looking quite good for Ence now. You can see Yugi, low HP, stuck in CT spawn, can't really get himself out of there. It is a decent plan as well. Nice smoke to hold off Gade. He can jump on the box there and still look over it. We'll see if that comes into fruition. Sergey holding the sights. There is no kit available for these CTs, but there is a smoke. If they can kill Sergey, they'll have a chance to go for the 10-second defuse. Will be Alu to strike first, though. And now Gade, he has looked promising this entire tournament. They're going to go for jump shots here, aren't they? While he goes for a 10-second defuse, it looks like Ence have got his number. And it will be Alu to find his 2nd frag of the round. Very well done by Ence. Nice trades. Nothing too flashy there in terms of the tactical finish. Getting up towards short, making sure they trade out those frags. Bomb down, smoke towards it, and then Alu controlling CT spawn, making sure players couldn't come up and sabotage his teammates' efforts. It will be a force buy in the 2nd round here from Optic. A scout in the hands of Yugi. We called him out for being phenomenal at this tournament, so we'll see whether he can cause some damage here as Ariel flashes himself out. There is a smoke on the corner to buy the CTs a little bit of room there, it seems. Ariel will be looking for the first frag. We're going to flash over and try and get a player in towards the pip. Sergey more than willing to challenge with that AK.
Smoke again to cover the cross. 2 of them again. We're seeing that more commonly. The old bounce smoke doesn't seem to apply anymore from long. Sergey, Zevin, good start. Gap in that smoke even with 2 of them down, but Ariel finds Cajun, so it's all fine. Nearly cost Sergey's life. He got tagged to 32. Gade will try and do what he can from a distance as well with his CZ. But Zed's dead, baby. Pulp Fiction for you, Henry.
Yeah, I know, it's good.
Thanks. Don't even like that movie.
Why not?
Unpopular opinion. I thought it was, I don't know, I didn't like the plotline at all. And the way that it snapped around from character to character, it just didn't do anything for me.
I just remember the first time I watched it, it just blew my mind. I've never seen a film like that. It's like, wow.
Yeah, cinematically, it's interesting. I don't know, I just didn't like it. I understand that a lot of people do, and I'm willing to accept that.
Well, we've cleared that up. We'll agree to disagree, and we'll move on as Alu will find the first kill. It's worth mentioning as well, on the 2nd day of this tournament, we said we thought Ence and Optic would be our 2 teams making it to the major. Whoever wins this does qualify directly for the event in September. The loser goes down to play NIP. So they'll still get a 2nd chance, but obviously you want to just get it done now and know you've made it, and then there's a chance for some bonus cash at the end of the day as well. We're talking over that round because it's the full eco. Optic not really doing much there. And here we go, the first real gun round here. Cajun's got the AWP. Bit of a Dust 2 master back in the day. Maybe he's going to go for more static AWPing instead of the flashy stuff Yugi can bring to the table.
Well, this is a map that he was incredible on as well. Car Cajun. Name a more iconic.
That's so true. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Car Cajun, man. He used to just sit there and wreck everyone at A.
Yeah, that's true. So Yugi, for anyone who's unaware, is a much more aggressive, snappy sort of aggressive AWPer, and Cajun will just sit in positions like the A ramp and like he is now towards that car, and he's very good at holding off players and trying to make their way towards the bomb site. Flash towards middle, B split coming through. Config won't be able to do much about this. He does do significant damage towards Sergey and sets Yugi up.
Good find. Yugi back out. He's got 2 perhaps on the rifle. He's going to be fine on this map as well. Cajun does chime in to get Alexi, and it's all to Config to rotate around and support Gade because they have gotten into the B site, and Gade is alone at least for the moment. Smoke down, can't protect him. Alu finds him first.
There we go, Alu left in the 3 versus 2. I feel like Snappy's got them here as he pushes around towards the tunnels. He will be taking down Alu living X7 in a pretty much impossible situation. Too many CTs around him. Fast B split, there was a bit of a bonus round there from Ence, so they still had a UMP and a Galil trying to go for the fast B split, hoping the AWP wouldn't be there, but Significant damage done by Config in spawn. Took a lot of the attention away. And Yugi was able to spray 2 down, and those were the 2 key frags that won the round there for Optic. Snappy with a decent flank from tunnels. You could see they were so focused towards CT and the window, they didn't anticipate Yugi's pretty standard position. Snappy, good shot. Managed to just get it done. Pretty clean round overall from Optic. They managed to save the AWP, but Alu purchases his for the first time. He's got the long spawn as well, so watch out for that. He definitely will have a shot available to him. We'll see whether he can nail it. Flashbang comes in, but it's Cajun who takes him down. More than ready for that. It's a very common approach. Need to grab that ult probably and make sure that you can't have that anymore, boys. Oh yeah, get rid of it completely.
Bye-bye. Well, that works because Cajun still has his still at the car.
You'd think they want a double orb setup though. Give that to Yugi potentially.
You could, yep.
Either way.
Yugi's over toward, well, he still could. I mean, he's over toward B, so he could play it in mid and swap with Alu. Or with, excuse me, with, who was playing mid with him? Config.
Well, never be attempt here from the terrorists. It's just Alexi who's trying to show presence towards short. It's up to Yugi now. They're all for him. AK, like I said, but he's surely going down here. And indeed he is. That's the B bomb site completely open now. Good smokes, double Molotov towards the window. That's going to buy them time to actually get this bomb down cleanly. CTs, I think, are not even going for this, Matt. You can see they're outnumbered. And they realize this probably isn't going to work out for them.
Well, and they know that Ence doesn't have an op anymore, and they do. So if they go for it, they just give them an op and lose all their money. So keep theirs, deny one on the other side potentially unless they buy another. So this will go 4-1 for Ence. I say it was Config. I think Config actually rotated in the last round. I think it's Gade that's playing in middle with him. So Yugi and him could swap. You're right, could run a double op.
Well, if Yugi's in B, like holding AWP a window or back
yeah,
to
it
side,
works. Yep.
That's you can just have one player in there and then have 2 rifles towards middle who are floating from CT spawn in the mid ramp. That's the most common setup when you get the double orb because it means you have more mobility and the rifles can back up towards short as well, rotating through. You can take a bit of a risk and go for an upper B pick with the orb and have an M4 with him as well, so mix things up. I'm sure Yugi would be interested in trying that out. Here's X7. Did he get a kill clean through this smoke? Indeed, he did. Gade really not happy with that one. Yugi couldn't do much with 3 terrorists coming through. If he had the orb there, maybe he had a chance from the window. And they will force by this one on the CD side. As scouts will come through for Yugi. Alu, no damage inflicted this time. Very close to doing so as Yugi will be trying that scout towards middle. Aerial makes his way out along and Snappy will be aware of it. His teammates go down, but he's going to be getting at least 1 kill here. A little bit of damage to X7, but advantage towards Ence now.
Here we go. We get to test Cajun at the car. Yugi has the scout this time, so you're right. That double op might have been worth it if that's what he's going to run. Cajun's still ready. Smoke dissipating, and they're trying to bait out his shot. They know he likes to play there, but he's aware the catwalk's more of a problem. And through the smoke, Sergey knows exactly where he's standing, able to take him down. Already they look to back away with the M4. And just that scout to work with. Gade with 1. Might change things, however, because bomb goes down. It's in the smoke. They can grab it and get away with it. I thought maybe they had vision of it.
Here we get another bomb plant. And looks like another promising round here for the Finns. As Gade and Yugi pretty far removed from the situation so far. Yugi is at least looking towards short. Scouts in hand, not really ideal. They've got no kits. I would say this is another save for them. As Ence running away with Dust 2. They've always looked promising on this map, I have to say. Starting to see it more and more now. Got introduced back into the map pool a few months ago. No real significant changes. It's more of an aesthetic update for Dust 2, but still new smokes, different positions available now, and teams getting better and better each event. But I think it's a great asset of Ence to have this as a decent map for themselves. They've got some great fraggers, good basic fundamentals in terms of their approach to Counter-Strike, and they'll find themselves at 5-1 now. We'll look at the scoreboard while we're here. It will be X7 at the top with 6 kills, 5 for Sergey. Top of Optic is Snappy with 3, so only 1 round, and you can see why. They saved 2 weapons there. Not got a force around it, but Yugi definitely can cause some damage to the scout as he watches towards short.
So Zevin to hold the stairwell. Yugi to hold mid. Gade's the other man we got to keep an eye on. He's pushing up. He's got the M4, and he's gone. Wow, clean shot from Zevin. Does he know Config's in the corner? Clean shot with the Deagle in return, and back to the M4. He's happy to keep the Deagle. He gives that right away.
Yeah, he is unbelievably good with that weapon. a lot of Danish players up as they'll make their way towards short. Ence, that is. 4 versus 4, but surely they get this kill. KGB can't do much about that. Sitting in the flames on the A site, that's going to grant them a plant at least. And there's actually no players on this side of the map now for the CT, so they might want to consider saving this AK and M4 combo once again. 2 players have got armor, and yeah, it might as well just be the save at this point. Config has got the AK-47. More than happy to take it to the next round. Still quite early days here. It is a best of 3 series. Dust 2 to kick us off. We'll see 4 players survive for Ence here. They must have absolute bank available to them. You can see, yes, that Sergey, 9,500 right now. He's going to get another 3,500 on top of that. So they're going to have money pretty much the rest of this half as we get deeper and deeper. They're getting very rich indeed. Haven't really lost too many frags at all. Like we said, the top fragger for Optic right now has 3 kills.
Yeah, that's a shocking state of affairs. Ence, I think was my pick coming into this. I think yesterday we did say Ence, but Optic's been impressive.
We said Ence and Optic on the second day.
We did say those would be the top 2, sure. Yes. But
oh, you mean for this particular?
Yeah, it's. I don't know that I would have expected it to be this convincing so far. It really is. Op again for Cajun, but op for Alu, who nearly gets one through the doors. That was a fraction too late as the cross comes in, and the cross being engaged will get inside of the B site. Meanwhile, Yugi holds middle. It's a shot from Cajun that finally prevails. The AWP getting on the board yet again. A 3rd kill only for him.
Well, this is how they won the only round they've got so far. It was courtesy of an opening kill from Cajun B. He's done it again. That's Ariel going down, a player that's been getting better and better as the tournament progresses. Alexei will also be taken down there by Cajun, but Alu looking sharp as ever. He'll be smoking and flashing towards the crossover now. Yuki's still got the scout, remember, so this could still be a little bit troublesome for them. They do have the man advantage for now. In terms of Ence, they have 3 players making their way towards short, and Cajun, like we said, so good at holding these off angles, positions you wouldn't expect an AWP to be in. Most people would expect him to be by the cart or right on the corner there. He's playing a little bit deeper, making sure they fully commit before he
a little deeper, but not quite to the pit either, because that's the next spot you might look for. And Alu was considering it. He got in position. Config was unable to take him down. An entry head spotted. Cajun fires now. The battle's on. Op versus Op, and Alu's holding and posting, and therefore has the advantage when Cajun repeaks. Bomb planted. Alu pulls it back to a 3-on-3.
Big stuff from Alu, but Yugi through the smoke and CT spawn finds him. I assume he had a little gap there at the top. They do have a kit this time, but there's a Molotov available for the terrorists. If X7 can get 1 kill here, I would say that confirms it. He can stay alive at this point. Oh, tries his best. There's the Molotov. Maybe thrown a little bit prematurely there, Sergey. I think he could have bought himself a couple more seconds, but still absolutely fine. Wants to be nading it now as well, perhaps, and he's already done it. Great job. Regardless of the Molotov, it absolutely works. Well done to Ence. Sergey holds his nerve. Double AWP set up gathered, though, by Optic, so at least there's something to take to the next round here. See what happens. Ence. So much money, like we said, they can definitely pick up another AWP, not a problem. First time we've seen the double AWP, though. Yugi, after looking so phenomenal in this tournament so far, surprising. We've only got him with the AWP now. He's got a face towards the top. They flash over. You can see you now watching shorts. No challenge towards T-spawn.
Ariel. Start to hang out. And wait toward the tunnels with Zevin. Alu's going to hold with bomb. Not only covering the cross, but waiting late, to get information, but also having that bomb in that position so it can go either way. The drop of a hat. Whatever that means.
Well, I'm coming up to the 1 minute mark. Still nothing given away by Ence. They still have 4 smokes as they start to go to the next segment of their default, which is getting short control. Alexei's there. He's confirmed no CT presence, at least at the steps for now. Firing off some bullets. He's trying to bait out grenades, I would say, with those shots. Trying to see if he can get them to drop a smoke or an incendiary. He knows they've probably got them on the other side. But here comes a potential fake of the B-split. They got smokes going towards short and CT spawn. What is the play here? 4 or 5 players now holding the short area. I'd say an execute is likely. They still have 2 smokes to block vision from Cajun. Less than 30 seconds is the final play. Flashbang to bait out a shot from Cajun, but behind the car as ever. He's got a nice little angle there. Snappy maybe even better as he pushes through the smoke behind them. Cajun B doing a good job. Going to get not 2. Okay, I thought he had that one lined up, ready to go. 15 seconds as the bomb will be planted towards short, I'd imagine, and it all begins again. They've got 2 Molotovs on the inside here, Matt, so that's key in the retake here.
That's insane. I mean, Cajun hitting that shot might have confirmed the kills for them. Yugi gets caught out of mid by a very deep and passive Zevin, who is waiting for the rotation. Sergey still on the site. He's the man who took down Cajun. It's hard to beat the reaction time of a 16-year-old, apparently, because he is lightning quick to find config as well. So too as he was with Cajun B. It's now 8-1 for Ence.
Yeah, Sergey just completely styling on them towards the end. That final shot sounded absolutely nuts. So that was good. How did he get this one? Just with pure precision. That's excellent. 10 HP, and he manages to pull that one off. Ence, I did say if they make it to the major, I feel like they can do some damage. They've got so much talent and just a good approach to the game.
I wouldn't have said that at all about the last lineup or when we first saw this come on paper.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone... they had an interview with Natsu yesterday. He said it's taken us about 2.5 years to get here, but finally we have a competitive team. Tactical pause now from OG, Optic Gaming. And we'll see whether this buy will come in. It looks like it will. Be some compromises here for Optic. Go for the double orb setup again. There it is. Snappy with the UMP. Config of 3,500. He'll go for a Negev. He accidentally bought a Negev. He just wasted $2,000 purchasing that.
Wow. Wow. That's a brutal... Unbelievable that comes $2,000 still.
So yeah, now he's got MP7, no armor.
Yeah, that's brutal. I almost would have kept it again. Try and play like B tunnels or something. Why not?
So things not looking good for Optic at the scoreline, and then Config could potentially tilt himself because now he's just going down.
Okay.
All right. He's making it work.
Invigorated. Nearly got away with one as he dropped off the stairs to find Aerial, but the AK prevails. AK would have prevailed against armor or not, so he can't use that as the excuse. Perhaps weaponry he can. Zevin does get snappy, so that changes the fate again. We go to the man advantage for Ence, who pull it back mid-round, as they often seem to do.
Yeah, and there's no kits again. There's one smoke. One of these players with the AWP, they might be considering a save again here, man. They just got no chance. And there's 2 Molotovs, 3 smokes available, HE grenades. There really is almost zero chance they're making that work. If they stir any sort of presence with this flashbang towards short, if Gay's going to go for it, that could all fall apart. But they're just looking for exit frags now. I think they've realized there's the Molotovs coming in. Confirms there's absolutely no chance of them getting near this bomb. As X7 just trying to shoulder peek the corner, bait out any shots that might be coming in. And Optic's only real hope here is just to deny some money. X7, that's beautiful. As he takes down Yugi. Now Gay's only objective is to grab that AWP and fall back and save it. Have we found many frags yet? Still, top fragger for Optic is on 6 kills, and that's Yugi, 6 and 7.
Wow.
Not really looking as high flying as they were yesterday.
6, 5, 4, 4, 2 for Gade. Unreal. 9-1 for Ence. What a quick start to the morning.
Aerial. They're all. The thing is, it's not just one player that turns up for Ence. When they're looking good, it's all 5 having their moments. Everyone's looking on point and ready to go. It's pretty magical.
Keep in mind that the winner of this game qualifies and goes straight to the major, or the major final, the minor final, the grand final, that's the word I'm looking for. And the unfortunate defeatist will go down to play NIP, who wait to see who it will be. It looks, although we're in map 1, Optic are not exactly awake and ready for this game, so maybe they're the early entry for that game. Ence with Alexei and Sergey able to find both Cajun and Gade, and Sergey takes out Yugi again. Once more, they didn't have the first kill, but they find all the rest. Config has it down to just 2 remaining with the Deagle. He wants that AWP, but he knows it's beyond a wall that's being watched. Does get it with the E key, but that lets Alexei know that he's coming that direction, and he nails him.
Oh dear, this is getting all sorts of awkward. Optic really getting ran over now. Quite frightening how good Ence look. Optic. Double orb set up again. They can't get into this game. The problem is when you get to this scoreline, you can't really be as creative. You can't be as aggressive at the start. You know you need to play safe and just build up rounds. You can't get your confidence built up. X7 go for the initial pick here, and that flashbang is decent. That might even allow him to get towards the pit. The smoke on the corner for himself. If he peeks now, he's got a kill available. They do fall back slightly. But long control granted, that's what they wanted. Doesn't really matter. They didn't get a frag. It's an occasion now to hold the site. But Alu coming in for the pincer play. Config's there on the left-hand side. And it takes a nade to the face. See if Config can finish him off. I'd say he probably can. He's very fast though, Alu. Not fast enough. Config with a flashbang from his teammate guarantees the kill. And Ence will now commit toward long. It's Cajun who needs to be careful here.
Cajun does, but he knows he's got to get a kill as well. Every time it's Sergey.
Yeah.
That one wasn't even Sergey's response. Cajun didn't expect him to unscope to relocate and got nailed.
Sergey's just playing out of his mind right now. He's completely bodying everyone. Snappy, the only hope here, as he goes for the jump shot, but they're ready for it. One player remaining, Yugi. I don't think you'll be doing much in this round, I'm afraid.
Sergey, again, that reacts to a jump shot. This guy's so quick with his reactions.
The thing is as well, I was speaking to Nato, I was like, how has he learned how to be a top-level CS player when he's 16? So he must have been playing since like 13 years old, but then who taught him? How did he get this good?
Yeah, it's one thing to play. It's another thing to play properly.
Yeah, like who's he been playing with to actually get to this level? Unbelievable. There we go. You can see Config typing to his teammates in the bottom right of the screen. That's when things usually aren't too good, when you're all chatting and discussing what the hell's going on. You shouldn't be doing this. We need to be doing that. When you're typing in the text, you know things are going bad. Well, 4 players survive for Ence. It's 11-1. I was hoping this would be an absolute barn burner of a game, but so far Optic getting absolutely railed here. Sergey's just looking absolutely inhuman right now as he makes his way through on the bomb side. That jump shot, you're absolutely right. That's nuts.
Yeah, 11-1.
I feel like Ali's going to get a kill here just to rub it in.
Might. Backside. He almost flicked down and got that. Poor Yugi. That his lights punched in, and then at the op on the ground, they would have had to recover, which wouldn't have been hard. They had another player in mid. They still do, in fact, by the door, have Snappy holding a close angle. They've already bypassed him to get to Catwalk. Yugi wants to try and lure them into that AWP. Seven is aware that Snappy gets forced out by Flames, but they can't catch him with the bullets on retreat. Designed play. Yugi blinded, couldn't find the shot toward Catwalk either. Not uncommon we see the first kill for Optic. Smokes and Molotovs toward the A site. Cajun, good hold. The Deagle this time rather than the AWP. Gets one but can't find Zevin. Perfectly timed on the flank though. Alu down at the box on Cat. Drops his op. Alexi's got to go back to hold it off, and they've got an even better position in play right now because Sergey is sneaking in behind Catwalk, and they think they're wide open.
Yeah, and that smoke's going to buy them a lot of time here. He can go for the double kill. Is he going to miss it? He's definitely not. It's going to be a 2 versus 1, though. Can he pull this one off? Bomb's not going to be planted. They're both on the A side. He's going to be flashed. Turns away from it. They have not recovered a rifle yet, but he is low. He drops down. That's making some noise. 30 seconds remaining. Gets config first. Could be everything, but not going to happen. Gate uses the sound cues, outpositions him, and it will be the second round on the board.
Alu. AWP, and he's already set for the mid-cross. Might get the shot on the first one. They'll make it through. No picks in mid. It seems less common than we used to see it, at least. Push in B tunnels, trying to get not only their second round now on the board, but finally perhaps a third and a fourth. If they can get this to 11-4, maybe there's a chance. But Ence just looking so sharp and so much money. Obviously, they buy back in. Reset potential for Optic. Double op setup. Yugi finally gets it. Over mid, don't want on the other side yet, but the Gate timed perfectly, gets one and gets out. Exactly what he has to do. No need to overextend, no need to stick around. Get the man advantage, fall back to safety, and in fact, they can do exactly that in mid, but they're going to go up Catwalk again for Ence, and that means Config down below has to hit shots, so too does Cajun. He's had trouble doing so. Double flash out. Cajun's blinded by the second one. Config does manage a 1-for-1 trade, but Yugi's gone in rotation, and now it's all on Cajun. Again, he struggles to find Sergey.
He does. Cajun beat. Holding towards long, but the bomb is planted for sure. That incendiary's a little bit too late. Tried their best to deny the plant, but not going to happen. We'll see Ali now holding long. Flash over from the CTs, but he's going to hit the shot. Down the AWP goes. And Snappy on the A ramp. Is there any chance of retaking this? Doesn't look like it. Gade absolutely outpositioned there. Well played by Ence. It's a decent reset as well for the final round. They can buy 2 AWPs still by 3 players on $1,500. Optic might be looking on the barrel of a 13-2 scoreline here. Ali just getting it done. He's got 12 frags right now. Sergey was 16. He's only died 3 times. And here we go. 1 M4, 1 AWP, 3 pistols.
in. Alu takes a bit of damage from it, but that's not a problem. Inconsequential, ultimately. It's Gade that he wants in the back of the site, so the op for Config and Gade on the M4. Gade on the high side of the box. Flash was spotted being thrown in middle. It'll be called by Config, but can he get the boost shot? Not quite. Alu, meanwhile, does get Gade. That's backside B. Yugi now has to hold it with a deal at the door. Goes in, finds one. Alu's already shot, so getting Config behind him. Yugi had a chance to strike, but speaking of behind, here comes Zevin out mid. Doors, double smoke down, or rather double position, not double smoke. We have seen the double smoke. That's what I was going for, Henry, because we've seen people throw it to try and get that gap erased entirely. Snappy's got it to work with, and he finds Alu. But the round might be too far gone as Cajun has to run to the site and pass Sergey in doing so. Snappy better hold that hop. Can't really do so. Round 15. He can't get another shot, at least, to Alexi.
Well, Snappy burning away. No chance of winning this round. Alexi will finish things off, and Optic have had a very disappointing first half here. This feels like a foregone conclusion as Ence win the first half on the T side of Dust 2, 13-2. Optic can play this map as well. I'm so surprised at what I saw. It seemed like they were a little bit off. I didn't see anything from Yugi, really. Big names not really performing to the same level we've seen out through this tournament. And we'll see PT50s. Or PT50 on the T side. Obviously, this pistol has to go in their favor, but I'm not sure they've got anything left.
Config. Snappy. Sergey the one to hold it. Back box of the B site. Now I see it. But they're already a good shot from Config. No mistake about his skill. Cajun B gets Alu. This should be Optic's round. On those two kills alone, holding out the B site. It should indeed be. Yugi as well, waiting for the rotations. Finds one. That's all he needs to do in that occasion. 4 versus 2, and armor and a kit. Fair enough. Not a lot to work with in terms of position because that B wall is tough to penetrate.
Well, there it is. Config confirms the round at least for Optic Gaming. It will be Alexi now trying to keep as many players as he can on the site. Flashbang through. Alexi goes down. So Optic, their grind begins here. We have seen some massive scorelines go the full distance. Plenty of 13-2s, 12-3s fall apart. Mainly courtesy of Red Reserve. There's the opening pick from Config, that PT50. We talked about that earlier. The reason it's bought on the T-side pistol, so you can have some one-tap potential and some longer range on your star player. As the force play doesn't really have to come in from Ence yet. They have gone for it though. They're going to have CZ's armor, smokes, and trying to get a player in towards lower B. But Yugi doesn't have information about it, so he'll be able to call for his teammate to be aware of it at least. And there it is there. More than ready. As Sergey will push towards upper as well. We have got a bit of a pincer towards the B tunnels. 1 kill found by the CT so far. Can they find anything more? Doesn't look like it.
Sergey and Aerial trying to hold it off. They've got an AK picked up. Armor for Aerial as well. So, although that armor is now taking damage, it's worth trying to hold on to the next round. Will Gade allow that? Probably not. And Aerial's already found Sergey as well. 13-4. Optic starting to, well, whatever. They've got rounds early because of the pistol. I won't say anything beyond that yet. It's early days. But showing signs of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Full eco now, friends. Not really much they can do with this one. That will just be rushing middle by the looks of things. And Yugi will take care of the first player. Nice calm tap. He gets a couple, but X7 will take him down. So this will be rushing middle, trying to trade out some kills the best they can. You can see one of the players making their way towards suicide to try and get that gun, but Gade is aware of it, and it will be the 3rd round in a row confirmed. Optic, not out of this just yet, as the first buy comes in. Presumably, they'll bring out the AWP in the hands of Yugi this time. Snappy's going to throw it over. Alu's got his AWP, but you can see after the force buy they are quite limited here. No one with any helmets. Luckily there's no SMGs available. Bare bones utility. Sergey and Alu with no grenades whatsoever. They have got the AWP and 1 defuse kit.
Open window. Thank you, Penelope. for leaving the window open so we could bounce our flash perfectly off of it. Config and Snappy to lead the way. It's Alu to shut them down, or attempt to. He is playing in a similar position as where Cajun B would. Aerial looking away for obvious reason. His cue to turn will be a flashbang. Also that Alu's peeking the door. Convenient.
Indeed. I'll make their way towards short. 4 players there. No one in A defending right now. If they're able to flash heavily towards long, Alu will be in a lot of trouble here. He does get it towards that car position. Gade waiting to backstab our long. Smokes in, players dropping down. There will be Alexi to open things up.
Catching Config, trying to go for the divide split. Still one at long that wants to attack late. And if they do, that would make a problem. Gade, if he gets aerial, that pulls Cajun away from the site. They still get the plant down a man behind. Aerial's aware of it. This is not a bad read from Ence. They know it's likely that long is going to be contested at some point in time. And CT as well, rather than Catwalk. They don't have great position right now for the retake. They've got to get out the ramp. But again, as soon as Long tries to help, it's Gade that's the problem. Good read from Aerial, good patience. That pays off tremendously because now they can protect the players working out from CT from Long. So long as the players on the site don't peek over the wall, which is what they have done. Yugi is controlling everything. He's down to a 1 versus 2 with 34 HP, but it is an AWP, and there's no time on the bomb. They're already backed off it. Zevin's gone away, and he's the one with the kits. It's now going to be 13-6, and that is an incredible shot.
Wow, okay. That was sick. Yugi's not done just yet, it seems. My goodness. Great play by him. This is what we were looking for in the first half. We know how good he's been. In this final kill, was it an absolute no-scope? Yeah, of course it was. My God. See ya, 7. 13-6, and Alu will have the AWP at least, as Yugi looks for anyone challenging towards middle. Fires off a shot, sees if Alu re-peeks it, but Snappy goes out towards long. Holding it well, lots of damage inflicted. 2 kills found, but 2 returned. Lexi and Sergey might be able to stay competitive in this round, but there's just too much firepower coming their way. And we will see a 3-on-2 ensue. Conflic's being tabbed up, Lexi even more so. So they have long control now, but Alu still has the AWP. This is possible, as he locks them in the long doors here by positioning at the top of mid.
So already through long yet again. Optic. Alu again, the money man, but nowhere near enough to shut them down at the approach, rather, but on the site as he plays from Catwalk. Head shows, that's a very impressive shot. He had about a pixel to fire at, clips it through the box. Config falls. They now know where the AWP was, but not where it's going. Alexi couldn't find the shot.
That was his chance. What'll happen now as he goes down? Alu stuck in spawn. They know he's there as well. I think he'd be better off saving the AWP, but we'll see if he fancies it. Making his way up slowly. Make some noise now. Oh my goodness, Snappy's giving him a chance. Oh, what the hell just happened there?
Unreal! The first one, fair enough, catches them off, but the jump shot? Even Ence is having a giggle. That's insane.
Clip it. Slow it down. What the hell?
14 rounds for Ence.
Of course, there's a headshot as well.
After that.
So the first player towards long, I guess, trying to back up his teammate, didn't think that would possibly happen.
Sick.
Look at this though. He's in the open, then jumped off a course. It just connects.
Slow it right down. Slow it right down. Okay. All right. I haven't had enough coffee for that shit.
Oh my goodness, that's unreal. I've never seen it like that with the AWP. Like, incredible scenes. Either way, it will be Config and Co. maybe rushing and failing at long as they go down. That might decide the game in itself. 5-on-3 now. Alu shows us what an insane player he can be. He has been performing well all tournament. And now we'll see whether Snappy and Gade can do anything.
again with the AWP. This being map point for Dust 2 for Ence to take a 1-0 lead in this series. Gade works the stairs. Flash goes high. That should catch Alexi. It does. He throws one in return, but they're already forward of it. It slows them only temporarily because it doesn't blind them for full duration. Smoke to extinguish the flames. He wants to push all the way through it. In doing so, Gade was certainly ready and read that play perfectly. So Optic with the one-man advantage. And this the last buy for them in last round. In doing so, Ence is already going to call the save.
They absolutely are. Well, there we go. Another lifeline for Optic here. It's going to take 9 rounds in a row to get it to overtime. This is a good start, though. But that's its Ence being conservative. They don't want to go for a massive retake. They've got double orbs as well. They've lost the first pick. Alexi went down quite quickly. And at that point, he's like, well, you know what? Let them have the round. Let's not make this more complicated than it has to be. We'll save all our money here. There you go. We've got enough for one more rifle here. That's if 4 players survive. We'll see if that happens. But Optic got themselves back into it now. They can upgrade maybe a couple of those lesser weapons. No point saving cash for them now. Might as well buy the AK instead of the UMP. There it is. Buys the AK. Will Yugi upgrade this scouts?
Yugi tries to fire into it. Config down already toward the lower tunnels. But Snappy with that smoke still on the Xbox will go around and get to the cat position at corner. Forward stance, bomb to follow. And it looks like another A take. We haven't seen a lot of B takes in this game. B is the forgotten sight. Through the smoke from Cajun, who's down below. Alu misses the shot, has to back away. That's a problem. Incendiary will slow them down at the very least, but him having confirmed that, was waiting for the shot. They didn't show up. Having confirmed it, will now back away and find an alternative angle. In fact, goes aggressive on the wall. Might make up for the miss, but couldn't find it the second time. He's got to rotate off toward Carr.
Scout for Yugi up against the double orb setup here. Towards short they go once again. 1 round will do it. Ence will take the first map of this best of 3. First time in this tournament so far a team can actually qualify to the major. Remember, Ence have struggled to close out games. That's something Natu's been saying in interviews as well. It's one of the things they do struggle to actually get done is finding that 16th round, and we've seen a lot of that this tournament, but Alu could shut it down right here, right now. Gets the first. Can he get a second? Not quite, but X7 can. 3 versus 3, time ticking away now. They still need to get that plant down. Luckily up against 2 AWPs, so maybe that's to their demise as Snappy will be dropped as well. Cajun be the last line of defense, but I think we're all done here. It will be Yugi just with the scout, and Alu, what an absolute masterclass of CT play he put on there with the AWP. That's got to be one of the plays of the tournament, that one with the jumping, no scope there. That was absolutely unreal, and that's what secured the win for me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was, I agree. That jump shot from Alu, you don't see that all too often anymore. And as you said too, hit it with a headshot. Saw the gun barrel sticking out, but the balls to go for it. We've seen it a few more times lately as well.
Yeah, we really have.
Smoothie was going for it like crazy in Cologne.
It seems like Thorin tweeted out yesterday. He said there must be something to these jumping AWP shots that keep happening. Simple seems to do it more and more often. Is there a technique we don't know
Is there
about?
another exploitation?
I'm not sure because it seems like they are coming more consistent now.
It was originally, look, it was just shoot at the apex of the jump. Then there was the, if you strafed at the top of the jump, you can hit it perfectly. Now I'm wondering, maybe there is. I don't know. I think you would have heard about it. I think if someone would have whispered it.
There are some people that maybe can fill us in on this particular question. We'll throw it over to the analysts. Over to you, boys.
Hey, thank you guys. Good job as always, and appreciated as always as well. Now, guys, we could talk about Ence picking Dust 2 and being prepared coming to this matchup, but I'd say that's underselling the fact that they showed up big time.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think a little bit of holy moly red beans and ravioli needs to be thrown out for that Alu play as well. Look, you get the likes of Optic getting online, Yugi with the AWP. They were stomping back into this game and, touched on there by the casters.
This next shot right here is disgusting.
Yeah, see, both AWPers were very flary, right?
Disgusting.
I think if we want to start in chronological order, which would mean the beginning, the way that Ence approached this matchup, they were clinical and they didn't even get dominated in any of the fields in terms of like clutch situations or, you know, opening kills. They weren't just wrecking house in that regard. They were losing opening kills and then they were standing up in, you know, 3v5 situations on 4-on-4s and they were just converting every round. It's one of those games where every decision they were making was going right. And you can see on the scoreboard here, X7, Alu, and Sergey all having monstrous performances, 20+ kills for each of them. And very clinical way to open the day.
A real strong start here for Ence as they do triumph over Optic Gaming, 16-7 on the opening map of this best of 3, which is, or what, was Dust 2, rather, I say. But a great start here for Ence, and you got to kind of wonder, can they run with this momentum and take it forward?
Well, I think so. I think it was also very important for them to close it fast.
Yes.
Because it's not the same. Winning the first map 16-7 or 16-14 is absolutely not the same. Yes, you won the first map, but the mental state of your opponent is completely different. I mean, Optic got to feel a little bit gutted. I think this, as you said, this Alu's crazy shot kind of killed a probable
ruins
comeback.
The vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was it. I think Optic were kind of cruising. They had found their rhythm, and then Alu comes, jumps, and wins, I guess.
Here's the thing. We're sitting here. We came down getting ready to do this segment, and we can see Alu going for the 2v1 situation. No defuse kit. The whole way that the economy is going to pan out after they lose this round. But like, yeah, he should save. Yeah, he should definitely save. Next minute, the guy decides to go for what should be an impossible 1v2, finishes it in one of the most impossible ways that, you know, happen in Counter-Strike. These aren't things, even though it is becoming more consistent, let's think about the fact of how much more Counter-Strike we watch nowadays and how many more flary players are going for these shots. Let's keep that in the factor as well. And to have that, like we said, it ruins the vibe, but that's not a round that Alu should be winning. That isn't something which should be happening. That is a completely out-of-the-blue play. And to see it unfold in just to help, I think that's a big mental push for Ence here.
I mean, going for that alone was one thing, but the fact that all it takes is one shot, do not miss your chance to glow. This opportunity it only comes once in a lifetime. Actually, I think it's Mr. Chance to blow. But anyway, guys, this was an amazing showing from Ence. Moreover, the young guns seem very poised right now and seem very ready to fight their way through this bracket.
I'm just trying to think like where you can really take from this if you are Optic, because we did know that it wasn't something which they were too hugely proficient on. The stats definitely are well and truly in the favor of Ence. The only shining light that I guess I painted was they could have done a lot of preparation and come out here with the individuals, but the individuals were shining for Ence as opposed to that of Optic, who didn't get online until the second half.
Well, talk about shining for Ence. We could even maybe just take a quick look back at Alu in the 1v2, because it was a significant part of this game. I felt like at some point there was a chance maybe Optic to start running some rounds back. I mean, they were playing a little sloppy, but boom.
That's just ridiculous, isn't it? I don't know how much we can harp on it, but it's crazy.
I don't know how I feel about Snappy's positioning in this 1v2. I think he's completely committed to what he's doing. Maybe he should have just stayed long and waited, forced Alu to come out of city base and then pick it. I think like he allows Alu to have basically a 1v1 without.
Did they even know he was there? That's another question.
I don't know, but this position is what I call an all-in position. There's no, you don't come back from this. You chose your position, you're trying to go for a 1v1, but you're in 2v1.
If we want to highlight as well, like obviously that play there, you can talk about the micro little positioning and that kind of stuff, but also little details that fell through. I think you noticed as well when that last round and they were executing from Cat onto the A bomb site, Alu, a Molotov came, but it landed behind him, which meant they thought that the position was clear because the Molotov is meant to displace that one CT. Unfortunately, it was too deep, and he was able to play in between two Molotovs and using the smoke to be able to pick through and grab two big kills on that A execute. So little details like that for Optic show that it's not really a map that's too high up in their map pool right now. But going on to Mirage, I think that's where we should be expecting better things.
That is exactly the map that we will be going on to, is Mirage. Now, guys, going into this one, is there anything that we could take away from map 1 and perhaps transplant into map 2? I mean, this is going to be Optic's pick rather than Ence's pick of Dust 2.
I think regardless of the map, I was a big fan of how Ence were able to close situations.
Yes.
I think we saw Optic saving guns at least 3 or 4 gun rounds, and that's a very big statement as to there's no way coming back into this round. We are in 4v3. We are never going to give you any opening kills, so you better get your weapon and go where you belong, in your CT base or wherever. Yep. So if Ence can take that and apply it to Mirage, sure, maybe they can take it. I think from the map, Optic is probably more prepared on it, more proficient, but they were a very, very good sign of Ence that could translate to any maps, really.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that sentiment. Ence are looking well drilled, but I think a positive sign, at least for Optic, was towards the tail end of that game, some of the players started to come online, had a few moments from Yugi with the AWP. We saw the highlights there. Same with Config, starting to hit a few more shots. Just the other players need to step up, and throughout the rest of this tournament, I think we saw Snappy and Cajun with very good performances on this map as well. Mentally, I don't think they're going to be too out of it. I think in this veto they just were coming in a more disadvantaged position and didn't take the risk of floating cache, so they started off probably assuming they'd be 1-0 down. But this is where you need to see the more experienced players in Optic compared to Ence know that they need to step up now, because you're only 2 map wins, or 1 for Ence, from away from a major spot, some stickers, that cold hard cash, and all that prestige.
All the prestige, all the lineage, and all the legacy that comes along with what will be the FACEIT Major in London coming up in September. Now, guys, that does it for us here. We're going to be going to a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be the commentators taking us into Mirage. Can it be any easier for Ence, or will the Green Wall put up a throwback of a fight here? We will only see when we head over to Mirage. We'll be right back.